I'm Randy Reid, editor of the EdisonReport, and we are here at LEDucation 2024, and we call this our C-Suite series. I'm joined by Lance Bennett, the VP of Specification and National Accounts for Cooper Lighting Solutions. Lance, welcome.
Hey, thank you, Randy. Thanks very much for having us.
It's nice to see you. And let's start with PrentaLux. I saw that at your booth, and I'm fascinated by it.
I tell you what, it's been a great new brand for us. So it's a brand that in Latin, PrentaLux is printed light, and as you might guess, it is a line of finished luminaires that are 3D printed from start to finish.
Okay, and you've got one that you're going to show us here?
I've got a couple. You know, I'm a sales guy, Randy, so you never show up anywhere without a prop. And I've got a couple of props if you'd like to talk about them.
Yes, please.
All right, sure.
Let's do.
So, first of all, I'd say, PrentaLux was a technology, our parent company, Signify, has really developed and evolved out of Europe for the last, probably over 10 years, developed an expertise in high-scale manufacturing of printed luminaires, finished products. We brought that technology, brought a North American sensibility to it, expanded the product line, expanded our offering into the North American market, and now we have something like, I think, 24 different individual products. Each of those 24 different products have a variety of like 20-some different colors, another 10 or 15 different textures that we can bring.
So let's talk about, you brought what to the table?
So what we brought was what Signify had developed was the high-scale manufacturing repeatability of being able to print luminaires and have a number of years of experience in the European market offering them for sale. What we brought is our expertise in understanding the North American market, the design styles and sensibility, what products that we wanted to offer, shapes and textures and colors.
And you brought beauty.
And we brought
beauty. And because the fixtures that I've seen now that you guys are beautiful fixtures. And historically, when I would see a 3D printed fixture, I never thought of beauty. I do now.
And I would say that has evolved a bit. So I think our first offering, a lot of times people would look at the fixture and they would say, oh, that's a 3D printed product. Now with some of the textures and the colors that we have, for example, this one, probably, I'm not sure we're going to catch this on camera, but when you start to illuminate some of these products, that texturing looks unique.
It does.
We have a product in our booth, if anybody sees this before the show ends, there's a product that looks like it's glass, but it's a 3D printed product. And that's where the beauty, I think, has really started to evolve.
Put that up to the glass.
And this one, so the interesting story is if anybody is walking around the show today, you see those big 5-gallon water jugs that people put on the water coolers? That's what this is made from.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
So it starts its life as
recycled material.
And candidly, it used to be 30 years ago, people would talk about cradle to grave from a sustainability standpoint. Of course, what we talk about is cradle to cradle, meaning the product starts as one thing, becomes a luminaire, and after this product becomes a luminaire, it's going to become something else. It's not going to go into a landfill. And oh, by the way, the material that these are printed from come from 55% recycled content to begin with, and that number keeps growing.
Every time it's used.
Every time it's used, and this whole family is Declare listed. So many of your viewers would know that Declare is an important step in having material transparency.
Right, and you were one of the first companies getting involved with Declare labels.
A lot of other great companies too, and we think we invite many other companies to participate too.
Okay, how long does it take to print a fixture?
I think it depends. I think probably the longest fixture is maybe 2.5 to 3 hours. So longer than you expect. But if you can picture a manufacturing facility that has, literally hundreds of printers, and if we get an order for 100, decorative products like this, we're not going to print one at a time. We're going to print 100 at a time. Yes, it takes a couple hours, but once we're done, we're done.
And you're printing them in America?
We're printing them all in America. That's absolutely right.
Lance, Pennsylvania?
Yeah, Littlestown, Pennsylvania is Pennsylvania is where the primary location, but we're also looking at, we already have printers, we're not yet up in manufacturing production in our Denver facility, because it's not only about making the product sustainable from a material standpoint, but a big cost these days, particularly in luminaires that are sizable, is how much cost does it take to transport them to site, both in cost of gas, but also cost to the environment. Right, so if we can minimize the cost to get it to a site and minimize the cost to the environment, it's a plus.
And you're talking about 3D printing on site.
Right now, we're 3D printing in our manufacturing facilities, of which we have our primary one in Pennsylvania right now, but looking to add that capability to other manufacturing facilities.
Okay.
Today, we are not printing on a job site, but by the way, that could come, right? That's a reality that could come.
So let's do this, because you are obviously one of the leaders in 3D printing, you and Signify, your parent company. Where do you see this going in the future? I know it's it's a very small fraction of your sales now, but where do you see it going in the future?
I really think our clients are going to bring us to the places they want to see us. So as we typically do, we respond to demands from our customers. And I wish I could tell you that I know where we're going to go, but I think our customers know. And the more they learn about our current product, we're starting to see they are automatically taking us in new directions. A little bit later this year, we'll be introducing a track head that's 3D printed. Less components, less parts. And by the way, when I talk about these products being 3D printed, I should point out that all these products are manufactured to be disassembled without any hardware. So if I print this product, but it's really hard to take apart, or there's a lot of hardware that I can't recycle or repurpose, then that makes the process more difficult. So we're manufacturing these really designed from the beginning to be used and then reused the material into another component, another part later down the road.
Okay, I love it. So, okay, wrapping up here, how's the show going?
Show is fantastic. I've heard some probably unofficial numbers, but I think great turnout. The people I've talked to seem to be very happy. I think pleasantly surprised. I think there was a little bit of concern that it might be a little bit hard to get into the floor, into the show. But everybody I've heard has had a really seamless experience. I've talked to a number of people that have attended some of the seminars. Fantastic seminars. Some of the people that you recognized as Lifetime Achievement Award winners gave some seminars that I heard were outstanding. So I think the show is really fantastic.
We hear great things about the show. All right, closing comments?
Closing comments I would just say is that we're starting with decorative products. We realize that everything here is declared listed and sustainable, and we realize that this is probably a small part of the overall lighting package. We think that this technology will expand into other areas. And two things I'd like to add is that this technology allows personalization to the products. So while we have this wide range of products, we've had a lot of customers that come, and it's very easy for us to modify and personalize a product for a specific client. And last and most important, it's affordable. Because this great sustainable technology, if it's so far out of the cost range that people can't afford it, it doesn't do you any good, right? So we recognize that from a commercial standpoint, the product has to be affordable.
Okay, Lance, thank you.
Thank you, Randy, for having us.
Okay, pleasure.